and welcome to a special Halloween-themed game review. Today I'm talking about Hellboy Asylum Seeker. I remember I played this about a couple of years ago after coming off of watching the first Hellboy movie and enjoying it quite a bit, even dabbling into a couple of Hellboy comic books. And I'd wanted one pretty badly, and saw this at Hastings for about 10 to 15 bucks at the time. Remember really not liking it that much, so let's delve back into it and see if it's any good. Nope, still sucks. Here's why. Hellboy Asylum Seeker is a third-person action game with tank controls and tries to do a few other things, does them very badly. So, let me explain how some of the controls work. You only have a couple of buttons, and the game is old-style tank controls. It's not utterly terrible, but it just doesn't feel very good is all. And at first I was wondering, can I not run? All I have is just this slow walk cycle? Turns out you can run. You have to hold down the R1 button in order to do it, though. You know, I remember in Resident Evil, back in 1998, I believe, was when Resident Evil first came out, or maybe it was even a few years before that. You just had to hold down the X button in order to run. What's this holding down the R1 button to run? This is the stupidest damn thing I've ever heard of. Anyway, the game is an exploration game, but there's very little to even explore. And dear God, this game is ugly, even for a PlayStation 1 game. Now, I'm perfectly willing to forgive a game for its graphics. I mean, after all, this game only came out in 2004. Fuck that. This game is dog shit. And the combat of this game is so bad. First of all, you don't even have your gun. What happened to Hellboy's gun? He's holding it here on the cover. You know, the Samaritan that he had in the movie? The big giant-ass frickin' revolver gun that he has? That thing was awesome. And at the start of the game, you don't have it. All you have are your fists. You figure, well, the combat's gotta be good, right? I'm a Hellboy after all, right? I got the right arm of doom. Hell yeah, let's kick some zombie ass. Oh my God, what the fuck? This is the combat? Yeah, no joke. This is the combat. It's mindless. Utterly mindless. And your first two enemies are two zombies. And that's all you can do for your attacks. There are no real combos or anything. You just mash the square button and you just slowly punch. Every once in a while you'll throw a right hook, but that's about it. But enemies take so many damn hits. This is worse than any common survival horror game, where typically a zombie takes maybe about 5 shots or so from a handgun. In this case, from Hellboy's hands, they take maybe, 10, 15 hits, and then they finally die. And this game is sparse on the health items, especially, even when you need them. They're sparse. But thank God, combat is minimal. But it's not optional. I actually had to go and find a walkthrough on this freaking game. No kidding. Because this game has puzzles and areas that you can't progress until you do a certain thing in order to progress. For example, I get locked inside of this one tomb, right?
Sarah, the door locked behind me.
And I know I haven't really explained the story, but that's because the story is stupid in here. You're looking for a lost agent, you find him very early on in the game, he's dead, so you just continue on like nothing happened. You lose track of your partner, and so now you're just trying to see about trying to save her. Anyway, I get into this one crypt, right? And this is where I originally got stuck when I was first playing this stupid game back then. You're in this room, it's dark. There are two zombies off to the far of you. Here's something else that's interesting. You have a lighter, but you can't really use it. I mean, you can in order to light the area, but you can't walk with it at the same time. Is Hellboy so stupid that he can't even chew gum and walk at the same time too? This part makes no damn sense, right? Because I fought zombies earlier, and I beat the shit out of them. There were no real challenge whatsoever. In this, I take just a couple of steps towards a zombie. I'm not even close to him yet, and something in the dark just pushes me away. Does hard damage and pushes me away. Forces me away. This went on so damn long and I died. I kept on wondering, am I walking into a pit? Am I supposed to be following a path? Well, I can't really tell with the lighter because it doesn't really light shit in this frickin' room. It lights a tiny little patch around me, but that's about it. What is it with video games not knowing how a lighter, a torch, a flashlight, or even a light from your phone, how that not works? Anyway, where was I? So, here's what you have to do. There are these two torches that are off to the side of you after you go down the stairs, right? But you wouldn't even notice them at all. They practically blend to the background. What you're supposed to do is go over and interact with them and then light one with the lighter. And then you take the torch and then you can use it. And then you find out there was nothing in front of the zombie. It was just the game's way of telling you, or should I say, punishing you, because you're not doing it right. Fuck you, game. This is why nobody likes you. This is why your game sucks. This is why the game completely ruined the original developer who made this piece of shit. Anyway, moving on. These zombies are absolutely no challenge whatsoever. You can just run away from them. Anyway, you hit this switch and then you move on. Thankfully, you don't have to kill all the enemies, though you do have to kill some. For example, there's this bird thing that I came upon earlier in the game. In the walkthrough, it says that you could just ignore him and just run away. Well, turns out you have to kill him, because if you don't, a key item does not appear. There's supposed to be a key that will appear on the altar opposite from where you came in from. And when I tried to ignore the bird and go and collect the key wasn't there. Key didn't appear until after I killed the bird. So combat is not optional. So, which begs the question of, why is this game acting like a survival horror when it's not? Hell, for an even better example, after I left this church area and go out into a sort of a hedge maze area, this dog demon appears and starts chasing me. This is after I've gotten my gun. So now I'm thinking, great, I can do extra damage from a long distance. I emptied my entire gun into this dog. Practically didn't do shit. So thanks, game, for making even Hellboy's gun weak. So, thinking like a survival horror, I run away from him and run to the door of the next area and move on. Well, I'm stuck. Again, door on the opposite end will not open and there's nothing else to interact with. So I go back. Also reading the walkthrough, I found out that there was some additional ammo inside the church if I bang on the organ a little bit. Nice. Anyway, turns out that that dog demon you have to kill, because if you don't, you miss out on a story segment that happens that then allows the door on the opposite end to open. God, this game is dumb. Another thing worth mentioning. This game tries to have puzzles in it, but they're the most cryptic, random puzzles possible. First one that you have is you have this room with these 3 pillars. You get these 3 different stones. Actually, even 4. Turns out one of them you don't need. And the game just says, okay, solve it. According to the walkthrough, it has something to do with how the pillars measure in height in some way. After deciphering the walkthrough, I was finally able to get through. But this is just so damn random. And then you get this room, where all you gotta do to unlock the door is use the torch that you're carrying, and then go grab the torch from the previous room and hang them next to the door. How would anybody even know that that's what you need to do? You're never given any sort of hint as to what to do at all, and you can't examine any of the items that you're carrying or anything like that. You just have these items, and then later on when you move on to a new area, you just no longer have the item. I don't mind a good puzzle in a game, but if you don't know how the hell to solve it or even where to begin, what the hell are you supposed to do? There's definitely one thing you can say about Hellboy is that it is tedious. Absolutely tedious. You're following this absolutely narrow path. At first you're in a graveyard, then suddenly you're in a catacomb, and then you go into a mansion that has paintings and such, but it's actually an asylum / mansion, whatever. I get to this one hallway, right, and it's just endless cells is all it is. Endless inmate rooms. And then something random happens when I actually wonder, oh, is this going to be progression? Actually, what happened? Did he just... Did it... Well, there you go. There's the ultimate definition of this game. This game is Hellboy taking a shit. I will at least give him props for forcing you to have to wash your hands before you leave the room. Dear God. Now, I'll admit, I only played about maybe an hour and a half of this game, maybe even just a little bit more, in order to try and correct my bearings to figure out a few things. But, God, this game is awful. I mean, first of all, you're playing the character of Hellboy, and you don't feel like that you're Hellboy at all. You just feel like you're just an ordinary human character, but you're just copy and pasted over as Hellboy. Because your attacks feel absolutely weak, even when you're fighting against typically human characters like zombies or even these possessed guards here. I mean, at least when you use the gun on them, it kills them in a few shots. But even then, like, and the combat is awful. Absolutely god-awful. I mean, when all you have is just this crappy little left punch of yours, and all you're doing is just mashing the square button, and every so often you throw out a right hook. I mean, what's especially ridiculous is that the combat is clunky, because the enemy's running towards you, and the whole time while you're just standing there punching them, they'll suddenly go around you, and you have to awkwardly turn in order to face them, and you have to try and do it as fast as possible, or else they'll just start hitting the crap out of you. And the audio is awful. Absolutely awful. Everywhere Hellboy walks is just this one sound effect. It sounds like hooves clomping on concrete. Everywhere he goes. The music is minimal. It's okay. The game looks like garbage. The voice acting is forgettable.
It's been 72 hours since Peter disappeared.
I just hope we can find him in one piece. Zombies. Not good.
What happened in there?
Giant bird women. I hate them.
I mean, they didn't even get Ron Perlman to even do the voice. Of course, I don't even think by that point he was even in Hellboy. Because originally when this game was made, it was originally being made back in 2000, but was stuck in development for over 4 years. It was originally released on the PC as Hellboy Dogs of the Night. And the PC version, from what I understand, was absolutely terrible. Littered with bugs, and because of the slow date, the game was just considered utterly inferior in terms of graphics and gameplay. Well, then we got a port of it to the PlayStation, thanks to the publisher of Dreamcatcher, and the game's not any better. I got this game for about $10 at the local game store that I frequent, and I paid too much. I mean, the art for it is good, but it's obviously just the art taken from the comics. This game is worse than the movies of Hellboy. You know what's funny? There was another Hellboy game that was made some odd years after this. Came out for, I believe, either PlayStation 3 or the 360, and I remember playing that one, and that one actually being really good. Quite a bit of fun. It even has Ron Perlman as the voice. Actually has quite a bit of the cast from the movies doing the characters' voices. And the game was fun. I'd rather play that again than this piece of shit. Well, I'd even rather watch the movies, which are okay compared to this. Well, everybody, that's my review on this piece of dog shit. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Give this video a like and a subscribe if you enjoyed. I would greatly appreciate it. I'll see you guys next time.